Hello, everyone. On behalf of the Synod Council, we have made this brief video to introduce the budget proposal to be considered by this Assembly. I'm Bob Reinders, Acting Treasurer of the Synod. We prepared a spreadsheet template that will help illustrate the recommended changes. There will also be a supplemental document in the Assembly materials with a brief overview, history, and additional rationale. I'll now share my screen and provide some comments. The first column on the spreadsheet represents the actual income and expenses over the most recently completed fiscal year, which ended January 31st, 2021. The second column, which has the green shading, represents the approved budget over that same period of time. I just want to take a moment to point out a few extraordinary items that happened last year. You'll notice in line 3, we received $1,737,853 in support from our congregations against a budget of $1.8 million. That is 96.5% of our budget, which is particularly strong given the pandemic situation over that period of time. Next, in line 5, you'll see grant income of $163,523. We, like many other churches and nonprofit organizations, were eligible to receive a Paycheck Protection Program grant from the federal government, commonly known as a PPP loan, to maintain our staffing levels throughout the year. So our total income on line 12 actually exceeded our budgeted income last year. The first section on the expense side are gifts to partner ministries, including the largest, which is support of the church-wide ELCA. Those items that are gray shaded are proportional gifts of a percentage of our congregational support. The remaining items are strict dollar amount gifts as budgeted. You can see here that we currently provide 52.5% of congregational support to the ELCA mission support. The other partner ministries total just over 5%. The last section on this page is direct financial support of our Synod ministries, the largest of which is Lutheran Campus Ministry, which is highlighted in yellow. It is also a proportional gift, currently budgeted at 7% of our congregational support. The remaining Synod ministries are given dollars to be used as needed and authorized in the budget. Looking down at the total in line 48, historically, our total partnership and Synod ministries represent about 2/3 of our total budget. Over on the next page are our Synod administrative expenses, including Synod staff salaries and related employment benefits, along with other traditional administrative expenses which are forecasted. I'm just going to scroll down to the bottom and show you in line 82, our total administrative ministries expense actual for our fiscal year, which just ended, we're down over $65,000 from the budget forecast because of reduced expenses due to COVID. In summation, for last year, we had a surplus of almost $88,000, which the Synod Council approved to be applied to undesignated reserves for the purpose of offsetting any shortfall in the 2021-2022 fiscal year. You will see the approved budget for last year originally anticipated a deficit of over $123,000. Going back to the income statement at the top of the spreadsheet, the third column represents the approved budget for our current fiscal year. The budget was approved with very few changes relative to last year's budget. The same level of congregational support was forecasted, along with nearly identical partnership and synod ministry support levels. I'll just scroll down and show you that. The ELCA mission support is the same dollar amount and same percentage. Lutheran Campus Ministry is the same. And the total at the bottom just has a slight variation from the prior year. So if we go down to the bottom of column 3, it's the summation of the current year budget. We are forecasting a budget deficit of $113,301, which is somewhat similar to the budgeted deficit forecast from the prior year, although as we've already reviewed, that wasn't realized. Now we'll go back and review our proposed budget for the current year. The fourth column in the spreadsheet represents the proposed assembly budget, which we are considering. The Synod Council considered a variety of budget scenarios that would reflect our current financial circumstances. First, we want to begin by recognizing that we have a pattern of declining synod mission support from our congregations. Accordingly, we've reduced our anticipated income by $100,000 in the revenue forecast for next year. Secondly, we want to recognize that the use of reserves to support operating deficits is not sustainable, and so we need to begin to make difficult decisions about budget cuts. There are two very significant changes recommended from prior years. The first is the proposed reduction in the percentage of mission support that we would share with the ELCA churchwide expression be reduced from 52.5% to 50%. You can see in the line above on 13, the dollar impact of that recommended change. The second is a reduction in the percentage shared with Lutheran Campus Ministry from 7% to 6%. And again, in line 34, you can see the dollar impact of that. The remaining budgeted expenses would remain fairly consistent with prior years, including Synod staffing level at its current level, plus an allowance for a 1% cost of living wage adjustment for Synod staff. Going down to the summary section at the bottom, this budget does project a deficit of $118,326. If we were to not make the recommended budget cuts, that deficit budget would increase by approximately $67,000 to over $185,000. We will have the opportunity to discuss these recommendations at greater length at our assembly. And I also want to again invite you to review the supplemental budget proposal documents in the assembly materials that have an overview, history, and supporting rationale. Thank you for your attention and consideration.